Come on now, what's happening? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's up? That's what's up. That's the way of the world. There are eyes that cannot see and fingers that cannot touch. That's what's up. How's everybody around the world? All right, what's happening in London, John? I hope you're well. Ray Hogan in Connecticut. Lori Dawn out on the Cape. All right. Vinny Doak. What's happening? Good to see everyone. It's been a minute. Looking forward to having a great show today. Red, Gold, Green, Dub 1975. What's up? Good to see you. Jesus Gigs. Hi. All right. The gang's all here. I'm here. I'm ready. You're ready. We're ready. New York Hardcore Chronicles style live. Let's go. Let's bring on our co-host for the day. You know him. You love him. Author, internet personality, Joel Gustin. What's up?
Hey. How are you, Drew?
Are you an internet personality?
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I know you. What's up with your Instagram account? You're not on Instagram?
I only have it as a placeholder in case I need to reach somebody through Instagram.
Right, what's your fear of Instagram?
I just hate social media in general. I'm on Facebook out of necessity, really. But I if I can get away from all of it, I would, but it's unrealistic. Twitter, I never liked, or X, I never liked. Instagram, like I said, I just have these accounts because I need them to like reach out to somebody, you know. But
yeah, it's a necessary evil in my life, man. It's you know, it really is. It's crazy.
Yeah,
is that right? Just so everyone knows, Andrew Wakeman is tuning in from San Diego.
Nice.
What's happening in San Diego, bro? You know? Yeah, Lori says Joel's just too evolved for such things.
Hello, Lori.
Yeah. I'm a subhuman, you know, I'm on Instagram.
I keep threatening to leave social media completely, but I'm not quite there yet, man.
If that guy gets elected, I'm moving out of the country.
Yeah, right. Hey, the sky hasn't fallen. Imagine that.
You listen, this isn't a political show, but listen, I remember Nixon. You know, it's like this isn't new here. It was Nixon. There was, this is. You think you got it rough now? How about the guy that was like bombing other countries and lying about it? Anyway, so that said, let's bring on special for today, Stephen Messina.
Speaking of necessary evil.
Hey.
What's up? On? What's up, guys? What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. Hey, before I forget, happy birthday to Vinny Doak.
Is that right? Is it Vinny's birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Vinny. Yeah, we've been through a lot of elections. I want to be elected. You know?
Nice.
Hey, you know what's bringing us together here before we really get down to brass tacks is sadly a friend of ours passed away. Stephen, why don't you tell us about this?
Well, our good friend Mike Peters of The Alarm just passed yesterday at the age of 66. He had a 30-year battle with 3 different forms of cancer.
Wow.
Blood cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemia, and never stopped touring, never stopped making records, and would play everywhere and anywhere, and has a new record on the way, as a matter of fact, and just truly one of the greatest people. I was very lucky to, I went from being a fan. It sort of reminded me of like you and Al Barreal. Like I went from being a fan to being kind of pulled in, and he sang on a Serial Poets album, our second album, and we eventually played shows together. We got to sing together a number of times, and just someone who's so incredibly close to my heart. And in fact, I'm wearing the shirt as we speak.
Yeah.
And
sure.
It just, in fact, the Hit Squad actually got to play with Mike at Generation Records, and which was which was just like an awesome, like all the circle was coming together, you know, and
Yeah, that was a great day. Here you go. Here's the flyer. And you know, it was great playing with him. He was very gracious, and we hung out that day. Although I
Yep.
couldn't find any of the pictures. Maybe you. I know we took a
Wait.
bunch of pictures, but I guess you
Yeah.
didn't take them.
Yeah, I didn't take the one of YouTube because I remember I had walked around the corner and I missed Kate O'Riordan, which showed up too, and I missed her as well.
Well,
And,
that's when Kate was playing in
the hit squad.
She was playing with us, right? Yeah.
And you guys just but he was, in fact, you know what's really cool? The last Warped Tour on Long Island, the Alarm was actually on the bill with Hatebreed and Sick of It All and
That's
Candiria and all of this. And the Long Island show I was at, the next day was Hartford, which I didn't go to, and Lou Collar jumped up and sang with the Alarm.
I saw a picture of that. Joel, you worked with Mike too, right?
Yeah, well, Mike was on my podcast just a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And lovely guy, obviously. You know, that's the general consensus from anybody who experienced any time with him. You know, when I spoke with him, he was obviously, you know, deep in his battle, which he had been for several years. But I got to tell you, man, of all the hundreds of people I've interviewed in my life, the two guys that really stand out for me for being instantly positive, you can just feel the energy coming off these men. Obviously, Mike Peters was one, and Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses is the second. You know, and the thing is, both of those guys obviously had been through the ringer. You know, we've lost Mike. Steven, thankfully, is still here. But, you know, I tend to think people like Mike Peters, he kind of figured things out about life that all of us should consider more deeply. You know, he was going through so much, but in his mind, it was, let's talk about the next album, the next tour, the next rehearsal, you know, and it was like he was so happy to have that next rehearsal, that next show, that next album, and just boundless energy, positivity. I'm glad we connected. I would have loved to have reconnected with him. I know we were going to meet up in Boston at some point, but I think that ended up being canceled due to his health.
He canceled the whole after 2023. He had canceled all of 2024 after that, but even though he canceled it, he ended up just doing a residency in Wales. He played every single week. He never stopped playing.
You know, Julie Chrysler mentions up at ERS where I went to up in Boston. They that first Alarm record was everywhere, man.
And Boston loves them. Like they love Boston.
Right. That's right.
In fact, there's like a 6-song live 12-inch from Boston.
That's right.
That I have. And just you know, like it was
that original band. I mean, I'm not saying what happened after what, but that original band was pretty great.
I mean, the first American show I saw was opening for U2 at the old pier in New York City on the Warped Tour. They opened up for Queen at Wembley Stadium with Freddie Mercury. They toured with Dylan. I mean, just an incredible band. Really, one of my all-time favorites. And just the fact that we got to be friends, and you know, it's something special.
Right, Steve. You'll understand this. Mike Peters instantly struck me as somebody who was still, after all those years, wide-eyed about what he was experiencing. He was still having that, wow, I can't believe this is happening feeling, where after 40 years, people are kind of, you know, winding down and are like
jaded. Yeah.
Oh, Larry. Sure. Larry Kelly said, I took those pictures, Drew.
There you go. Good. Because I knew it was, I combed everything yesterday. Thank you, Larry. I was getting gray hair thinking about it.
But there's a few of them out there, Joel. People, those people that are still out there and just love music.
Yeah.
Like you, like me, like Steven.
Yeah.
Like the guys that are coming on today, and like a lot of the people that are out there watching the show. So thanks, Steven.
Thank you, guys.
We'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you on Sunday at the show.
Absolutely,
right?
Of course.
All right. Talk to you in a bit. There you go. Let me do a little rap, and we'll bring our guests on. All right.
Great.
This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, Mad Vintage, Women of the Pit, and 126 Hardcore Clothing. They're a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise, like you, my friend. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Don't care what they may say, we got that attitude. Get in touch with them, ramp up your weak-ass clothing game, www.126clothing.com. That said, let's clear the deck and let's bring our guests on Brady Bunch style today. First, let's welcome an American drummer hailing from Los Angeles, California. Known for his ability to play in various styles from experimental to rock and roll, his work is at the forefront with the bands Backbiter, Crawlspace, Clawhammer, Fearless Leader, and currently Astral Jets. Please welcome, coming at us from Burbank, California, Mr. Bob Lee. Hey, man.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Let me get our next guest on. Our next guest is an American punk rock guitarist and singer hailing from Newark, the jewel of New Jersey. In his incredibly proficient musical career, he is known primarily for his work with Black Flag, Red Cross, DC3, Vita, John Caspi and the First Gun, Misfits, and currently Astral Jets. Please welcome, coming at us from San Pedro, California, San Pedro, California, Mr. Dez Cadena. Hey, man.
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good to see yous.
Good to see you, Drew and Joel.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. Bob, what's happening? Go ahead, Dez. I'm sorry.
And Bob, because I don't want to leave him out. I just saw him about 10 minutes ago last night.
How did this show you guys played last night at Gold Diggers?
At Gold Diggers Bar in Hollywood. It was my first time playing there.
How was that?
It was good. Now, there's my of the flyer that I made with my wife up in Fairbanks, Alaska, about 20 minutes from any paved road, causing the northern lights to appear out of her fingertips. It was a good show. I really enjoyed it. We played in Hollywood. It was kind of reminiscent of my first few times playing in Hollywood with kind of a band that wore all black, and the Black Honey Cult were the headliners with Jake from the Lords of Altamont as the organist front person, and I really liked them. I thought they had a really cool, hypnotic, minimalist kind of thing. They were groovy. There was a groovy audience, and it was a nice little place to play. It was a good sound system, and there was people there. And Dez played some good guitar.
Dez, did you have a good time?
It was not a hardcore gig, so I just want to let you know. But it was groovy, like Bob said. I did have a good time because I get to play with these guys, and in this band, I play with Paul Rossler, who was in the Screamers back in the original LA before hardcore punk rock scene. Before 1980, he was in the Screamers and 45 Grave, and a wonderful keyboard player. He wants to play keyboards like a guitar player, and he's always done that. And then I get to play with Bob and the other guys from Backbiter. I don't know how I got in this band, except for the fact I came back to LA after living in Jersey for a long time when I was playing with the Misfits. And I came back to LA to take care of my mother, who's going to be 100 in June.
Wow.
Shandon. And
100.
100 years.
What kind of
My
genes?
goodness, I wasn't even keeping track, but that's quite.
What kind of genes does she have? What?
She's an Italian American lady. Madonna. So there she is. And I used to take her to Misfits shows when I used to play with the Misfits and stuff in LA. And well, she would come to sound check, to go to the shows. It was too late for her, but my sister would drive her up to Hollywood and we'd play the Key Club, House of Blues, or whatever, and she was there. Nonetheless, the rest of the guys in this band, Backbiter, when I came back to help take care of my mom, I tried to connect with a lot of people in LA that I knew, and it was easy. So I started 1, 2, 3 bands, and it was easy because I know a lot of people here for years, and Bob is one of them, and Paul, and the rest of the guys, Jonathan and Heath from Backbiter, and we came up with this band. It's like blowing in the wind, it's like, okay, let's get together and play. And we were originally called the Bronson Caves, but there's another Bronson Caves, but there's a history about the name Bronson Caves, because if you've ever seen an episode of Batman, the Batmobile would pull out of a cave.
Yeah, of course.
Most caves were man-made for movies, and a lot of horror films were filmed there.
That's right.
And it's all the street Bronson up in the hills. Right. So we really wanted that name, and it was my tribute to LA. I lived here for so long, and I really wanted to pay a tribute. But there ended up being another band called that name. So we came up with Astral Jets, and here we are.
Right on. Hey, let's kind of circle back. Let's bounce the ball a little bit, but let's start with this. Bob, I'll start with you. How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life, and what was the sort of the timeline with that, and why drums?
Yeah, so I was a musical kid. I had rock and roll parents that had, I remember being told I could pick Beatles records off the shelves of our friends when I was about 5 years old, before I could read. So I just was into that and took to it. And when I went into playing instruments, I don't know, the guitar didn't come as naturally to me. I think I had a cheap acoustic that could have become an electric if I had, learned some songs on it, which I never bothered to do. But the drumming and the singing kind of worked out. I was a choir boy, so I knew something about how to use my voice and sort of figured out how to apply that in rock and roll a little bit later in life, kind of in my 20s. But playing rock drums, it was kind of came naturally. I had an inclination to do it. Started doing it in high school. Played in some bands in high school, and when I went to college, I was the very first drummer in the Gits when they formed for about 2 months, and then after that, played in a few bands that typically lasted a few months, and then decided I was going to move out to LA. And
was that White Picket Fence?
That was the thing.
There you go.
We were called White Picket Fence.
Yes. Who was in White Picket Fence?
So White Picket Fence is basically the Gits with me on drums. There's he's not seen in this photo, but he's in a couple other ones from that night. This is Andy Kessler. So it's Andy, Matt, me, and Mia. And that was my first time playing in a band that wrote original songs and was getting ready to do a set. We had played a couple of times with me as the drummer. That show was opening for the False Prophets.
Oh wow, the False Prophets from New York.
Yep.
Oh wow, with Stefan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stefan and George from Roach Motel.
Yeah.
And that what was the name of the guitar player? She was fantastic.
Deborah.
Deborah, yeah, she was terrific. Mickey from Ween told me that was his favorite guitar player. I remember when I first met him when he was about 15.
What was the first music that you felt like connected to? Like this is speaking to me. This is my music as a young person. What like, you know, not the Beatles records but what was the first music that came across your radar screen that you really felt personally connected to?
Kiss.
Wow, another one with Kiss. Here we go with Kiss again.
We just talked. Dez and I just discussed this the other night, and he's going to tell me to stop talking about it. But you know, he's going to have to hear it. It was an important thing in my life. I saw Kiss on a television commercial that they were playing at Roosevelt Stadium in New Jersey, and just somehow having the culmination of the Beatles records. I was into Steve Miller, BTO, Wings, kind of, you know, your parents' music, generally pretty good stuff as I considered it. And Kiss was the thing that they were not into. That was really mine. I had to find this for myself and kind of convince them to buy the record and take me to the show, as opposed to they didn't need to be talked into going to get me a Paul McCartney record.
Yeah.
So that was instantly that's my answer.
Paul McCartney record. I'll agree with you on that one. But like, go ahead, Bob.
Joel, you were going to say something?
Yeah. Speaking of Kiss, this is an old school Kiss, but just in the last couple of weeks, my old buddy Eric Singer sent me a hello in the mail.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that's nice. From the last Kiss tour. A mutual friend of ours was having dinner with Eric, and I said, "Well, tell Eric I said hello." And a couple of days later, I get a text. Yeah, Eric said hello this way back to you, and he nice. Sent me.
Oh, that's nice.
More
respect to a gentleman. Those guys have the weirdest gig of anybody in rock. There's no weirder gig I don't think exists.
Hey,
to actually have to be somebody else, like not just be the
right.
new guitar player in Deep Purple or whatever, but to actually like take on their persona and the makeup and the whole thing and kind of
you don't
do
even
it with heart every single night in a professional way. It's just and you know, half the fans are going to hate it and are going to say it's false and wrong and inauthentic. The worst thing you could be in rock.
At least Vinnie Vincent had the onk. Vinnie Vincent had the onk on his face, you know. At least Vinnie Vincent and like Eric Carr, you know, they got their own kind of thing. But like those guys are like you know, sort of sentenced. Like your sentence is you're going to be like someone else and roam the wasteland. You know, it's a tough one.
Well, it's a trip, but you know, then again. They made 2 albums, for better or worse, and you know they have a legacy of their own, and now their likeness is more likely to be used on the kind of iterations of the band, like probably the avatars will end up looking like Vinny and Eric, or Tommy and Eric.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. But you know, then you wonder, are they getting a cut of that, or why do I even care what the mathematics of these rock bands are? But you know, well, I mean, it's just such a trip, and they're so extreme with it that you kind of can't help it. But I think that's a pretty good rock band that would be a lot more fondly remembered if they had not been so popular for so long.
Joel?
Yeah, I don't mean to talk over you, man. I'm sorry. I mean, the thing with Tommy and Eric is, you know, I'm reminded of a conversation I had a couple of years ago with this guy, Tommy Koufetos, who took over for Bill Ward on the last Sabbath tour. And there was a lot of politics. And I was initially kind of like this about it because I'm friends with Bill. But I got talking with Tom, and he's like, listen, man, if it wasn't me who got the gig, it'd be somebody else. And I think that's how Tommy and Eric see it. It's like, look, you know, someone else can have the gig or I can have the gig, you know, and I'm sure those guys are very happy to have had that gig for that long. You know, Kiss was filling out arenas until the very end. It's like someone's got to play the drums. It ain't going to be Peter, you know, so might as well be Eric.
Makes sense. So,
Oh,
Dez,
He did a good job. I liked that band the one time I went and saw it 10 or so years ago for $25 up in the cheap seats. And, you know, I remember thinking, okay, the people in the front row are paying $2,500 and I'm paying $25. That's actually kind of an interesting way to do it nowadays. Like we both can have the experience we want. Those guys paying $2,500 get to put their arm around the guy and get it.
Absolutely. So, Dez, how about you, Dez? How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
Well, I thought you were going to ask me what I think about Kiss. No, my father produced jazz music for Savoy Records. And I grew up in a musical household. And he owned record stores in Newark after the riots in the 60s. He moved it to New Brunswick by Rutgers.
You had your dad had 2 record stores, right?
Well, he had one that moved.
I see. Okay. Got it.
And after the riots in Newark in the 60s, the second riots, there was 2, 65, 67.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He was a jazz producer. Most of his clients at the record store were on the other side of the railroad tracks. So
right.
He had a record store downtown Newark. Luckily, his store didn't get harmed because they knew him. He's the only Spanish kid to own a record store where everybody, during those riots, everybody tore the whole town down. On that side of the railroad tracks, the black side. And that's weird to me. You think like if people were pissed off at white people, they would go to the white people's section and harm them, but no. They blew up their own town. And my father's store existed because he catered to jazz, blues, gospel, and that's what I grew up with. Music. And not that punk rock isn't music, but that's what I grew up with. And, it was always important to me. As Frank Zappa says, music is the best. And
your dad co-founded Savoy Records, which was a huge jazz label, man. Your dad worked with Cannonball Adderley, John Lee Hooker, Milt Jackson. I mean, your dad was in the mix, man.
My father, Oscar, Ozzy.
I gotta grab a picture. Go ahead as you talk, because you guys look a lot alike.
Oh yeah. Why don't you show a picture?
I got one here. Hold on. Here it comes.
Is that one going?
Hold on. Yeah. Wow. No shit. Here you go. Here's Dez's dad, Ozzy. Boom. Right.
Yeah. There he is.
Here's Dez's dad. Now take a look at that, and here's a shot of Dez, maybe a little younger, but here's a shot of Dez playing, and boy, same guy. Basically,
Okay.
You are your father's son.
Yeah. and my mother's.
Yeah.
It's going to be 100 in June.
Your mom's going to be 100.
That's Chendan.
Incredible.
Yeah. Anyway.
So at some point your dad pulls up stakes and you guys move to Hermosa Beach when you were like a young teenager?
Yes, and it's because of when he was a Marine, he was out here in California during World War II, and he was music. It was all music. And he went to the Lighthouse in Hermosa Beach, which is a famous jazz club.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, me and Bob have a new song that's going to come out soon at the Lighthouse.
Right.
And Bob wrote it about my family.
Is that right, Bob?
Dez wrote the song, and this is kind of the first time I've written serious lyrics for a song that we've recorded. I write parody lyrics for Santa Sabbath and this kind of thing to make Black Sabbath songs be about Christmas and this sort of thing. But we had recorded the instrumental of this, and I was thinking about the Lighthouse. There it is. There's Santa Sabbath, photo by Ed Culver, famous punk rock photographer, in his backyard. Jonathan, our guitar player, didn't make it, but luckily a friend of his had shown up to hang out and look at photographs, and that's him. You see lurking over my right shoulder there. Just kind of so there would be four of us. Gotcha. But anyway, yeah,
But to answer your question, Drew, we moved out here because of the troubles in Newark, and I thought my father was trying to bring his younger kids to a cleaner life here in California. Little did he know, it was like walking into a Cheech and Chong film. You know what I mean? And
whatever life he thought he was saving you from, I wonder how it compares to what actually happened.
And what really freaked me out when I first came here was I thought in 1974, I thought hippies were dead. No, people are walking around going, peace, here's my skateboard. I never seen a skateboard or a surfboard unless it was on TV. I didn't know. I'm from Jersey. I'm from Newark. What do I know? Anyway, so it was funny. It was really kind of funny. But then I guess I acclimated myself to the environment here. And that's why I'm here. I took the LSD. I got into punk. I was a youth. I'm still youthful, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just joined Black Flag, and that was it.
Well, what was when you said punk? What was like what was punk like? How did that come into your orbit? Like, what did punk look like as a young person? You were like 13 in Hermosa Beach in the mid 70s.
Well, I did not know. It was 1974. There was no punk, but I liked your shirt. I already knew Bob, like the Beatles, the Stones. My father owned a record store, so we had all the records. My older brother would bring back Mountain, Grand Funk.
Come on.
I heard all these Humble Pie, these bands, and Uriah Heep.
Woo!
All these fucking bands. And before I even came to California, and so I already knew about this stuff. And but then again, me personally, I was listening to whatever they got. Bowie, early Jethro Tull, just whatever. But I was also listening to Coltrane and Thelonious Monk, like jazz, blues. I really loved.
Yeah.
When I first got the guitar, I wanted to play like B.B. King or whatever.
Johnny Winter.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Rock and roll hoochie coo, baby.
I like Johnny Winter.
I had a father who was musical, and he used to edit albums while my mother was cooking in the kitchen. He had like an old Ampex, and he like a Charles Erland keyboard player. He would edit these things, and I would be sitting there going, "What is this? This is sound. It's great,"
Mhm.
And yeah, so punk, though, I didn't know what it was, and I'll tell you a story. Can I tell you a story?
Yeah, let me ask you this. Just this is your mom and your dad back in the day, correct?
Oh yeah,
There you go.
no, that's their honeymoon.
Oh, there you go. Ooh, sorry to get so personal.
No, that's a wonderful. I love that picture.
Oh, it's terrific.
That's great.
And
That's great.
he passed away in 08, but I make breakfast for her every day. Hey, what are you going to do? What would you do, Drew?
I'm doing the same thing, man. I'm my dad's caretaker. Yeah.
Had a boy.
Yeah. So tell us this. Tell us. So let's hear the story.
Oh, what was the story I was going to tell?
All right. Well, I got a question. So you're in Hermosa Beach. Is it true you met Ron Reyes while you were tending to a yard sale at your house?
Yeah, and that was actually in Redondo Beach. But
Right.
my father, we had this little back house, and the front yard probably used to be a house, but it was a yard now because for some reason, maybe it burned down or whatever. There was like this long yard, driveway, garage, and a back house. So it kind of doesn't make sense, but it was kind of a cheap rent. So my family, we lived there, and in the garage, my dad used to have these garage sales. And I'm like getting into this new music or Bowie T-shirt or Led Zeppelin or whatever. And but I was already into this punk rock. I was getting into Iggy, the Ramones, of course, the Ramones. And my father used to set up the front yard for the garage sale. He put all this stuff out, and we had the stereo in the garage, and it would play the jazz. And then as soon as he set up, he goes, "Son, you're in charge of the garage sale. I'm going down to the beach to take pictures of the girls playing volleyball." I go, "Okay." He still had it. And meanwhile, my mom's in the back, but he stayed faithful. But anyway, so he let me alone to a garage sale, and I'm playing like the Weirdos and the Ramones and the Runaways and stuff like that. And this guy walks by, this Puerto Rican kid, short kid, and he had this Levi's jean jacket, white, and he had all these names of like punk rock bands like Sex Pistols and Clash. And he walks up the driveway and he goes, "You like this music? Because I'm playing like something like X-Ray Specs." And I go, "No, I'm just trying to annoy the neighbors." "Sure, I like music." And we became friends. And turns out Ron lived two or three doors down. And about a month later, he comes up to the house, he knocks on the door, and he goes, "Hey, there's this band, Panic, but they're changing their name to Black Flag, and they practice at this church, old church in Hermosa Beach. It was an old Baptist church, and you want to go see them practice?" And I go, "Sure." So we walked the 2 miles, and we're walking down Pier Avenue in Hermosa Beach, and I see this guy with kind of long hair with a beer with a paper bag around it, right in front of the police station in Hermosa Beach. And it was Chuck Dukowski.
Uh-huh.
And I go, and he goes, "Oh, he's in the band. That's Gary. His real name's Gary." Yeah. "Hey, aren't you in Panic or Black Flag?" He goes, "Black Flag. Go to our practice." And that's when me and Ron became friends. We went to go see, well, first the garage sale, and then to go see Black Flag.
Here,
It's quite a fortuitous hangout opportunity.
yeah, here you go. Here's
Yeah.
here's an early Panic shot. There you go, Panic.
Oh yeah, there's Robo with hair.
Yeah. Everybody's got a head of hair. Yeah.
I know. Well, Black Flag never went for the punk rock style at all. I mean, if you see old pictures of me after like Henry, I look like Frank Zappa.
Guys,
So-
let me jump
Go
in.
ahead, Joel. Go ahead,
Because
Joel.
we're talking about your dad and his history with jazz, and I'll take kind of a longish walk to this question because I've always heard, especially the earlier Black Flag, I always heard a lot of jazz influence in that. You listen to What I See, that intro or the intro to Six Pack, there's a lot of jazz happening there to my ears. And Ginn, as a guitarist, is experimental jazz to my ears. He kind of always was. So what did your father think of Black Flag, the musicality of the band in those early days?
Well, first of all, a lot of rock and roll. He was a traditional bebopper. So a lot of rock and roll, his attitude was, "It's too fucking loud." Not even counting punk rock. I mean, regular rock and roll. It's too fucking loud. But as far as his opinion about the way you should play, for instance, they wanted my father to produce the Minutemen, and I took my dad when I was in DC3 to see the Minutemen. And he goes, "They're really good at what they do, and I get the message, but they're too fucking loud. Get another producer." And it was the old school guy it's too loud. You know, why do you have to make that much noise?
He couldn't get past the volume.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And I'll tell you another story. Bob, I'm not cutting into your time. Don't.
It's okay. It's all right. We got some time. We're not in a rush. So lay it on me.
When I was in Black Flag and singing in Black Flag, we were punk rock. We were having a lot of riots. And it's not that we planned these riots. You know, it was because of police and all these other factions. But we were getting written up in the paper, like the Herald Examiner, LA Times. We're going, this punk rock thing is a menace to society type of reviews. It wasn't talking about the music like we are. It was talking about, oh, what is this? So my father was at the Lighthouse in Hermosa, and he was doing a jazz show, and he was putting on a jazz show, other musicians, and one of his contemporaries that goes there all the time walks up to him and goes, "Hey, Ozzy, look at this paper in the paper, this punk rock. My son's getting into it. I'm really upset about it. I'm scared that he's going to get fucked up on drugs," which he probably did. But what is this music? Isn't it just a bunch of noise? And my dad goes, "Listen, it may be a bunch of noise to you and me, but the kid, you know, you go, what about your son? He's in this band." To me, he's learning music, he's traveling, he's learning about life. God bless us. And so he put the other guy down and shut him up right away. He said, "That's my son. He's doing his thing. Piss off." You know, he didn't say that, piss off, but basically that's what he did. So that was what I got from my folks. You know, they let me grow as a weed. As Frank Zappa would say, let your kids grow as a weed. You know, let them, as long as they know
Love you, baby.
not to hurt anybody, you're cool. You know.
So how did you end up in Black Flag? I know you went to was Ron in the band when you went to this rehearsal, or did he? No. Keith was in the band, then Ron was in the band. How did you end up in the band?
Ron quit the band and on stage at the Fleetwood.
Starwood?
At the Fleetwood, which is in Wakanda. They were looking for a singer for about 4, 5, 6 months. And they couldn't find anybody. And I had just quit high school and I moved into the church for about a week. And my dad used to bring me food over there. And I was walking back to the church and Chuck goes, he had this old Impala and it was in the parking lot of the church. And he opened it up. He goes, "Here, you want a beer?" And I go, "Sure." Got a beer. And, "What's up, Chuck?" He goes, "Hey, would you like to sing for us? Or you want to try singing our song?" And I go, "I'm not a singer. I play guitar." And he goes, I go, why would you want me to be the singer? And he goes, one, you're a cool guy. Number two, you know all our lyrics because you used to sing along with Keith. Because half the time, well, not in the microphone, I would be in the crowd singing, and Keith would be half the time too drunk. And now that's two singers before me. But you got to remember that all of this happened within a year. They got No Keith, Ron, the Decline movie, then all of a sudden me. So I go, why would you want me? Well, you're a cool guy. And you know the lyrics and you have a passion. I go, okay. So I did the rehearsal and the practice. And then after the practice, we're like, they didn't even tell me I was in the band. They were like, okay, we're going to Vancouver, San Francisco, Seattle. What do you mean we're going? You didn't even tell me I'm in the band. They didn't say nothing. It was like, you're in the band. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah. This is a rare shot. I don't know. This has been rare. This is from Boston, in 81, I believe. But you know, this is you fronting the band. But here I got these are. I have a shot here that's actually never been seen. Like these shots have never been seen before. These I scanned these when I did the Boston hardcore film. These are from a photographer, Phil and Flash. This shot's never been seen before. From Spit, you see Chuck behind you, Robo, and Greg there. But
I've never seen that.
No, it's never been seen. Nope. It's because I have the whole roll. So yeah. So so when you're thrown into the abyss, Singer Black Flag, and things were pretty chaotic. Right off the bat. I mean, you sang for some of those crazy, wild early shows there. Anything come to mind from that era? Like, really? I mean, wasn't that? Were you singing? Were you singing at the Hollywood Palladium for that show?
What year was that?
I think. Am I right, Joel? That infamous Hollywood Palladium show.
Like the Ramones, the one opening for the Ramones.
I think that was him.
That was way after I was playing guitar.
Okay.
No. I was there. And the Ramones had Richie Ramone on drums, and Marky was out of the band because he had to get sober. So eventually they got Marky back. But no, I was there. That was Chuck, Greg, Billy Stevenson, and Henry.
Yeah, here it is. I guess it's such a kind of iconic shot. This one here.
Yeah.
My wife is almost in one of those photos. She said that she was walking out and saw like exactly that. Phalanx of cops on the way.
Did you, Bob? Did you cross paths with any of this early Black Flag stuff? Did you see any of these shows? I know this is pretty early, but
I didn't get into hardcore punk and the American punk scene until roughly 1983, and I didn't become acquainted with Black Flag and stuff until later in '84. Now, I remember walking past in the summer of 1982, walking past what must have been the On Broadway Club and seeing the marquee for Black Flag and Code of Honor playing that night, and kind of staring at the poster, which was probably a Raymond Pettibone illustration of some kind, and I was into Patti Smith and the Clash. Was about as punk rock as I got as a 14-year-old. I found it a little bit intimidating. I remember a girl with the mohawk asking me, like, "Are you going in?" And I think I had my George Thorogood shirt on. And I was afraid to attack me or something physically. And maybe it's good that I didn't go in, because if I had gotten attacked, then I would not have gotten into Black Flag, and we wouldn't be here today. So this was a little later for me. Although one of my early things of getting into doing music myself as a promoter was bringing DC3 to Antioch College, and that was in '87, and being part of a show where two bands had driven from New York and California to come play in Ohio, and for about $150 and some pizzas each, if I'm not mistaken, was the deal we made with Jordan over there at SST Global. Was just kind of an inspiring thing to me, and seeing that this could actually be done. And on a human level, it was a little bit different than encountering stadium rock, to actually watch this happen under conditions that I could imagine myself kind of becoming a part of.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You mentioned it in Dez. It's like we talk about this pretty often on the show. Like in those early days, what fell under the umbrella of punk, it's like Tom Petty's a punk, Elvis Costello. These were considered like punk acts, and like things just got kind of thrown. I mean, listen, Black Flag's Black Flag, but early on, a lot of stuff got thrown into the cauldron.
Well,
Blondie and Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Well, Blondie, Talking Heads, they were considering that new wave, and punk was the Ramones, Pistols, Clash, X-Ray Specs. My favorite band, X-Ray Specs.
Is that right?
Forget about it. I love the fact that a punk rock band can have a sax. Yeah. And make it work within that genre. Wonderful. It was really good. Can I tell stories about Vinny Stigma?
Sure. Yes. Hold on. Can I set it up? Dez, New York, you're out in LA, you're doing the Black Flag thing. Here in New York, we sort of have guys like, the godfather of hardcore, Vinny Stigma, a Mott Street, Little Italy guy. Did you cross paths with guys like Vinny and any of them back then?
Absolutely. No, but really the story we're talking about is when I sang in New York the first time, it was the Irving Plaza.
Yeah.
And it was Bad Brains and UXA. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong.
Hold on, I'm going to the archive. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Black
Flag, June 27th, the day before my birthday, at Club 57, which we know is Irving Plaza. Boom. There it is. There you go.
Was it with the Bad Brains in UXA?
I got to double check, but that's the ticket from that show. But go ahead.
$10. That's outrageous.
It kind of was back then, huh?
Out of control. When I played that show, all these people were. Here's the thing: New York scene at that time was dead. They were trying to think about having a hardcore scene. And not that we were promoting that, because we weren't really into the whole hardcore persona as far as, obviously, if you look at pictures of me later on, I grew my hair like Frank Zappa. When I was playing guitar in the band. we weren't into that. We were into style. We weren't into like some sort of, we were into the attitude of the music, and Greg and Chuck, but we weren't, but when we played there, the Chromax started. First of all, Harley was by that time probably about, he was old. He was probably about 14. You know, and they were all sitting there, and it was us and the Bad Brains, and both of those elements created a New York hardcore scene, and because it wasn't happening, there wasn't, once the Ramones and all those earlier bands, punk rock bands, they left town, they became popular. They were, and it wasn't, and a lot of people say the Beastie Boys. We started our band when they saw Dez Cadena playing at that show. And all those kids were at that show. Guys from Brooklyn, all over the joint.
Case in point, right? Here's another, this shot's never been seen before, right? It's from that same Spit show that you're singing, and right in the front there, you could see the side of his face is Jamie Sharappa from who went on to form SSD Control. So I always
also guys from Boston.
Well, James, yeah. So I always felt that Black Flag, because I saw you play back then, you guys were like the Johnny Appleseed. You would go across the country and just kind of throw the seeds down and leave town, and then the next time you came back, there was a bunch of bands.
Here's the yeah, that's kind of true. Thank you, but Johnny Appleseed, that's funny. It was really funny going to that show. Was we were driving in the van from California, and we got the idea to go in the van from the Ramones. That's the way they travel. And we were driving there, and I remember the only time I remember Greg and Chuck being nervous, going, "Oh, how are we going to do in New York and this?" And I go, "We'll be fine. We'll be fine." I don't know, because I'm from Jersey, or the way we're playing, and even me as singer, I didn't want to be the singer, but I gave it my all. You know, if you're going to tell me to play the bass, I will give that my all. And that was me. But they were like, "Oh, we don't make it." It's like the Frank Sinatra song. If you don't make it in New York, you're not going to make it anywhere. And which is true. And so I go, "Calm down, smoke a joint or something, and relax, you know, guys." And then once we played it, they were like, "Whoa!" They were so. Everybody was so happy.
What about Stigma?
Yeah, how does Stigma fit into things here? And let me dig up a good Stigma picture as you're doing that.
Okay, Stigma is he always tells me, if it was the same story I just told you, if it wasn't for you, there would be no front. And look at him. That's great. What a great picture. Oh, okay. So you want me to tell you a story about Benny Stigma? All right. A very simple story. Has nothing to do with the forming of Black Flag or punk rock or anything. Well, it has something to do. I was in the Misfits, and we were playing at the what's that place in Philly?
The Trocadero.
Rock. And they were opening for us, and it was maybe about 15, 20 years ago, 15. And we do our sound check. Oh, look at me. Oh, I look dead.
With the Joan Jett and the Blackheart shirt.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's another story. We played a thing in Cleveland with them, with Joan. And she was great. Anyway, so Stigma, they show up in their van. We do our sound check. And Vinny hops out of the van. And if you remember the truck, it's in the middle of fucking Chinatown.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah.
And he first thing he says to me, he doesn't even say hi. He goes, "Let's go get some cannolis." And I'm like, what? Fucking Chinatown in Philly? Oh, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Sure enough, he had 24 cannolis. He knew where to go in Philly. Where to get? Talk about a true New Yorker. You know, if you're, oh my God, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Stigma, yeah. That's Roger on the left and Will Shepler, the drummer, on the right. Yeah.
Oh my God, does the guy have a vagina? What the hell is that?
Kung Fu. It's Kung Fu.
Oh, I love the guys. They were always wonderful. And you know who's another good guy? The GOAT. Eric.
I sent him a message this morning and said, "You're coming on the show." I sent him the flyer this morning because actually, you know what? Let's tie this in. We're coming to play Vegas. You guys are playing Vegas. GOAT lives in Vegas.
I know, so we should hook up.
Well, I'll see you in Vegas. What, in a couple of weeks? We're playing. You guys are playing, and GOAT lives there. So we'll hook up.
I'll be there.
Oh, you'll be there? Are you playing?
Yeah. Well, Dez is a good guy to put me on the list, but yeah, we just upgraded our hotel room. We got to see Flag.
Are you staying in the? Are you staying at the Grand?
I don't know which place we got into, whichever one we were recommended to, but we're only there for one day, so I don't know if we're going to be part of shenanigans or what. But this will be my first time.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Dez, but I got to take a sponsor break. But let's tackle this before the break. Why the move to guitar? And can you give us some perspective on recording this now iconic release?
All right, no problem. I'm going to go take a piss. If they come back, sit here, tell them Dez is taking a piss. All right.
Hey, you want to take a break? You want to take a break now, or you want to talk about? You want to take a break now? I'll take a break. We'll take a break.
I have to go pee.
Go ahead.
Let's take a break now.
Let's take a break. I'll see you in a minute. Bob, I'll see you in a minute. Des, I'll see you in a minute. Joel, you called it. You knew it was going to be a wild one. All right. Let's do a sponsor break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about Damaged and Flag and Clawhammer and whatever. All right. I'll see you in a minute. Yo, this is New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We're getting on. We're doing what we do. Let's do a sponsor thing, and we'll be back in a minute, and we'll go at it some more.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. Please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that, but the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking opinion.
And we're back. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Hey, I want to mention a couple upcoming events. This Saturday, right here in La Ciudad de Nueva York, at Generation Records, I'll be down there. It's a record signing and performance, Rebelmatic. They got a new record out. We'll be down there. Larry Kelly will be down there because the very next day, that's right, is Rampage Fest 7. Free, all ages, Sunday matinee on the Bowery, 1 block from the old CBGBs. It's Mike Pooch from Sworn Enemy and Heggs' birthday bash. Sworn Enemy, Silence Equals Death, Brass Knuckle Brigade, Redwoods, Life of Deceit, formerly Gunk, and DJ Sid the Kid. So come on down, support this great event, our series down there at the Bowery Electric. 1 week after that, Saturday, May 10th, it is the Drew Stone New York City Cinematic and Music Tour. All patrons are welcome to come. It's free for all patrons. So join Patreon while you can. Come on out with us. It is a great day. We start in Times Square. We do Central Park. We end up downtown, and we are ending up down at Generation Records because I am moderating the Greg Rudolph Smith London 77 Lost Archive book signing and Q&A. This is going to be fantastic. 5 years in the making with this book. Books will be available. The photographer will be there. This is going to be a very special event. So come out and take the walk around New York City with us, and we'll end up at Generation Records. Memorial Day weekend, it is our annual Tompkins Square Park show. This year, it's Rebelmatic, Non-Residents Butterbrain, End of Hope, and Sonic Bomb. But I will not be there because I will be in Las Vegas for Punk Rock Bowling. Incendiary Device is playing at the Fremont Country Club with 7 Seconds, Negative Approach, The Effigies, and Stalag 13. Like I said, we're going to be there. Flags playing the festival, I think, the next day or two. Goats out there. And I am hosting a tour at the Punk Rock Museum on the 25th, early the 25th, the same day Dez is, actually. I'm doing it. Mine tour's at 10:30. And just a heads up that on that day, Sunday, May 25th, We are screening at noon at the Punk Rock Museum segments from the New York Hardcore Chronicles film. Our guest will be photographer Randall Underwood. So come do my tour. We're going to end up screening the New York Hardcore Chronicles film at noon upstairs at the Punk Rock Museum. And of course, listen, we're getting married, Rochelle and I, at the Hardcore Matinee Sunday, free all ages, Sunday, June 1st at the Bowery Electric. Vinny Stigma will be there. He will be part of the festivities. We're doing the My War thing. Lots of special guests coming on and a couple really great surprises coming up on stage with us. It's going to be a fantastic day. So make sure you come out to that. Just want to mention again, please support the show. There is a Patreon page. Join Patreon. It's the best way to support the show and support me and what I do. Join Patreon. Come take the tour with us. Lots of stuff available to patrons. There's also a PayPal address there. If you want to make a donation, please do. And there's also a super chat function. If you want to ask one of our guests a question when the time is right, you could do a super chat thing. It comes through in color. Just want to also mention, please pick up your communication device and join us on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. Also, if you're watching on YouTube on a rerun, please subscribe to the Stone Films NYC YouTube page and give the show a like right now. Get off your ass, lean over, give the show a like. Help me help you. That said, let's clear the deck. Don't forget to join Patreon. Let's bring our co-host Joel back on. Hey, man.
Hey.
ready for part 2?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's bring on Bob Lee and let's bring on Dez Cadena. Hey, man.
Good afternoon.
Let me put everybody back in the yeah. What's that? The old SG?
You got it.
Yeah. Tell us about this, Dez. Why the switch to second guitar, and give us a little perspective on the making on this record.
Well, first of all, I was unhappy being the singer. And a lot of people speculate that it's because of my voice. That's part of it, but not really. I'm a guitar player. And when Chuck asked me to be the singer, I told him day one, I'm not a lead singer. And I have this ideal of whatever instrument you play, it has to be a part of you. And I never thought about being a singer. So I was the singer of Black Flag for a year, and they knew I was unhappy. I was losing my voice. I didn't want to take vocal lessons. But if you listen to my voice, you didn't need vocal lessons to have that. It was appropriate for the music, but I was not into the personality of being a lead singer in a band. Henry Rollins, he's not a musician, so he was cool. He was cool being that. He was whatever he was, but Keith Morris, he's like a yenta. He likes to talk. He has a big mouth. You know, I love Keith. And my picture of Black Flag, if you looked it up in encyclopedia, would be Keith, Chuck, Greg, and Robo. That's it. a lot of other people like the other versions, which is cool. And they were cool. But me, I never liked the idea of being a lead singer. Now, as I learned later on with my other bands, I had to sing out of necessary. It's necessary. So I don't. I still like to be the lead singer of anything, but so many people come up to me and go, "You were the," and people have their favorites. Some people like Henry, some people like Keith, some people like Ron, some people like myself, and I never ever put that down. I'm thankful for that, but I play guitar. That's me. So, answer.
Any memories of recording this record? And also, I want to ask, when you moved to second guitar, how did you work out the guitar parts with Ginn? Did that just kind of fall into place?
Well, at the same time, Chuck was an amazing bass player, but he is very loose. And Chuck, if you ever seen old videos of like Black Flag, Chuck was just Chuck. He was full of fire. And sometimes it didn't hold down the rhythm. He held down the rhythm, but maybe not the notes. So I would be there to just keep the rhythm. With Greg, he was such a crazy, amazing guitar player. I wasn't trying to step on him. How could you? So actually, when I became the guitar player of that band, I was kind of like holding on the rhythm of the music. And but I was happy just to play the guitar. That's a weird photo.
You ever saw that? You've seen that before, haven't you?
The one with Chuck Biscuit.
This one?
Yeah. And there I am by him with I look like Frank Zappa.
Hey, I gotta say, this lineup with Chuck Biscuits playing drums was ripping. This fucking lineup ripped. Great lineup.
There's a live album of that show I walked past on Broadway in San Francisco in the summer of '82. That's pretty great.
Yeah, this was a great lineup. And you know who I saw? I mean, and Joel, this is sort of I know this is one of your favorite bands, but I saw Black Flag play with Emil from Twisted Roots playing drums, right?
Yeah.
I guess he was in one of those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he only played on like one song, I think, on a single.
Yeah, he played on TV Party, the EP for TV Party. He's the drummer on that version.
Well, you know better than me.
Hey, Dez, do you remember anything about recording this record, Damaged?
Yeah. We were at the studio on Santa Monica Boulevard at Unicorn. And I remember recording it. And I'll tell you a story about this.
Please.
The lady, Daphne Edwards, who was with Unicorn. Originally, they were affiliated with MCA, but they weren't anymore because MCA did not want to release this record. But I remember the studio was across the alley, and we had our own offices, SSD offices, on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. Wow, we graduated to Hollywood. And there was this particular studio used to invite demos for certain people. And one day it was B.B. King. And B.B. King was there. And the rest of Black Flag, I don't know if they were too shy or too busy or whatever. But Daphne said, we're going to have B.B. King. She was like Ukrainian or something. She would go, we're going to have B.B. King tomorrow to check out the studio. So I go down there, and she was trying to impress me. And it was really funny. The first, like, he's a big star. Of course he is. But I walked in and just started talking to him like, hey, what number is that Lucille? He goes, number 27, his guitar. He had his guitar.
Wow.
I go,
it was a hollow body. That was a Gibson hollow body he played. Right?
yeah, it was a Gibson 335 or something, or whatever.
Right.
And what number is that? Because I knew his history. It's like people always come to me about the history of music or how to play something, and I go, I'm not really an encyclopedia about music. All I know is I love it. But it's really kind of funny. And so my memory of recording that record was B.B. King.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Hey, Joel, you got anything?
On the Damaged era record,
or just in general for Bob or for anything?
but let me ask one final question about Black Flag for Dez.
Okay.
You and Bob were on my podcast last year, and I thank you again for being on it. And we talked a bit about Henry, and Henry's spoken a lot over the years on his perspective about his audition, and he explains that he sang his songs, and then you guys like deliberated, and then came back, and it took him a while to actually figure out you were telling him he was in the band. But to walk me through the other side of that coin, what was that conversation like about deciding to get Henry to front the band, and what did you see in him that made it a good fit for him to come on board?
Well, me? I wasn't part of my decision was my own. The band knew that I was unhappy being the lead singer. And we had thought about a few other people, and we tried them, and it didn't work out. And then they asked me, what do you think about Henry? And I go, I don't know, but I play guitar. And they were like, okay. So they bought me a guitar in New York. And here's the thing. Oh, is that your kitty cat?
Yeah,
Is that the black cat?
Yeah, here he is.
Let me see.
What's the black cat's name?
This is Claude Rain, the invisible cat. He's escaped off camera for a second now. But
Okay.
Oh boy, it's going to be time to feed him not too long from now. So he
To
just kind of come around
continue-
and remind us. But sorry to interrupt your story there, Deza.
No worries. No worries. So it wasn't like Henry and Ian were pen pals with Chuck. Okay. And when we toured across the country, we would play with their bands, SOA, Minor Threat. We loved them. And then finally, those guys came up to me. I mean, those guys being Greg and Chuck, and said, "What do you think about Henry?" And I go, "I don't know. Give him a shot. Can I play guitar?" And they were like, "Okay." You know, I didn't want to be a lead singer. I did not want to be. Look, if I really wanted to be Freddie Mercury, I chose to be that. Not that Henry is Freddie Mercury, but what I mean, you know, but really, you know, I didn't, and people liked me when I was singing, and I enjoyed that, but I did not, I wanted to do this.
Got it.
So, and they go, "Well, we don't want you to be out of the band. What do you think about?" No, there was a time when I was a singer and I wanted to play something, and Chuck tried to sing and I played bass. The only problem with that was Chuck was too energetic. He didn't really sing that well, and he broke the mic in the mic stand in the rehearsal with Robo. No, they wanted to satisfy me. Probably the only person that ever happened, because everybody else got the score. But yeah, you know, in some way or shape or the other. But they, "What about you playing the bass and Chuck singing?" He did it, Chuck, and then he knew it after 2 songs. He was like, "Oh no, this is not gonna. I can't do it. I can't do this." So, there's
I remember asking you about that guy D Slut from New Orleans. Apparently, was telling stories that he had recorded "Damaged" entirely in its entirety with the band, and I think we figured out that we probably recorded it at a rehearsal studio.
It was a rehearsal studio, yeah, and he was a cool guy.
Who is this?
D
Dave
Slut from New Orleans, from the Sluts.
Yeah, he was crazy. They actually wanted him, and
there's a bootleg from
cool.
He sings a couple songs.
His band was really cool. He was nuts. He was a lead singer.
Joel, you got anything for Bob?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about an SST adjacent topic. As you know, I just met up with Mr. Mike Watt a couple of weeks ago. He was up here in New Hampshire. I'll use some.
I've never played a gig in New Hampshire. That's adventurous.
Yeah, he was up here with MSSV, Mike Bagata, Hodges, and you've played quite a bit with Mike over the years. You know, you guys go back a ways. How did that connection with Watt come to be?
I walked up to him with a cassette and handed it to him and said, "I dig your music, and this is a tape of Crawl Space and Clawhammer, these 2 bands that I'm playing in." That was with Criminy, with Paul Rossler, who I knew, and it was a small show, so I figured it would be reasonable to approach him. It was Dose, Criminy, and I forget who else. But I handed him a cassette, and about a year later, maybe I saw him in the audience at a show I was doing, I think with Clawhammer opening for Dinosaur Jr. And then a little bit after that, he saw Backbiter with Jonathan and Heath, which is the band that's kind of evolved into the Astral Jets now. Saw us at Raji's on a night we thought we were playing to an empty club that the band that was supposed to play hadn't shown up, and Jonathan's roommate, the booking agent at Raji's, asked us if we would come in. It's at 6:30 or something. Would you come play a 9 o'clock slot? And we did, and just played, and eventually heard some people in the background. One of those was Mike Watt, who offered us a slot opening for Firehose on tour a couple of months later. One of them was Dave Markey, and one of them was Dave Travis, who we ended up booking Cafe Neela and booked us on a number of occasions, and started playing with Carnage Asada, which had Dez in it in its earliest edition that I can remember. And one of them was Annette Zelinskas, who used to be in the Bangles and who was in a band at that time called Weatherbell, who ended up doing some shows with Heath and Jonathan. So it was kind of the night you start out playing a show to what seems like an empty room, just to play and kind of have a way to play in place of practicing. Turned out to be a good opportunity, a good thing to do. But that's how I ended up meeting up with Watt, and then we started jumping on stage with him. I had an improv group with Joe Biza and Devin Sarno called Nastasia Filipovna, and we would sometimes invite Watt to jump up and join us. And when recording with him was when he asked me to play on his solo album, The Ball Hogger Tugboat, with 50 other musicians. And I played on one song of that on Piss Bottle Man. And then a couple of years after that he was touring his rock opera about the engine room, with Steve Hodges on drums. Hodges got the call to tour with Smashing Pumpkins, and I had to. And I was asked if I could come in with about 2 weeks' notice and play with Watt and Joe Biza on first a European tour and then a U.S. tour in support of that album. So I did that and jumped in and was Watt's drummer for about a year and a half. We was with Nels Klein in the 6 months after the first few tours with Joe Biza, and then after that it was Nels Klein and Watt and me. And that finished roughly in summer of '99. And he formed some other groups to do some more touring. But we've played together since then. We did a Christmas single a couple of years ago. I filled in for Mike Watt in the second band when Jerry Trebotic broke his arm a couple of years ago.
Oof.
And hopefully there will be something here and there. There's a Stooges cover band called The Real Oh My. That's me and Mike and Nick Reinhardt, guitar player who was in Terra Mellos and plays with the Death Grips from time to time. Or did. I guess that's kind of over, but anyway. But yeah, and there's a guy named Sam Locke Ward in Iowa that he and I are talking about doing some recordings. We're in the middle of doing some recordings remotely right now, just sending files back and forth, and I'm hoping that Mike will be involved on one of those. Because he and Sam have done stuff before, and Sam and I are doing stuff together now. Sam saw me play with Mike in Iowa back in 1998, and that's how that connection gets made.
Have you seen your Hardcore Legends trading card? Have you seen your card?
No. Oh my goodness me.
Oh,
yeah.
I want one.
You got one too. He sent it to me. Yeah, wait. So that you got to see the back, Bob. The back of your car.
Bob, remember I was asking you all that info about your bands?
Yeah.
This is why.
That's the back. And boy, you've played with a couple bands.
Yeah. What do you know? Thank you.
Yeah. Personal trivia. while in Yellow Springs, Ohio, attending Antioch College in the fall of 1986, Bob played drums with the band White Picket Fence. 3 members of the band, singer Mia Zapata, rest in peace, guitarist Andy Kessler, and drummer Matt Dresner went on to form the Gits.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's how it happened. It was pretty much the Gits when I played in it. It was the repertoire was the first earliest Git songs, and about 5 or 6 of them were recorded on those first couple records.
And you recently reunited with the Gits. You performed with them that was in Seattle, right? A couple months back.
Yeah, I think February 1st, if I'm not mistaken. It was they just declared it Gits Day in Seattle from the mayor of the city. They put out a proclamation, and I went up there, and they reformed the band. They had 2 different female singers doing Mia's songs, one from Antioch, her friend Maria Mabra, and another woman named Karen, who's from down here, lives in San Pedro, and has a band that Steve, the drummer, had played with. And then I got up on stage and sang the song Loose by the Stooges with them as the last song of the Late Show, which kind of brings everything full circle, because that was the very first song that we played at our very first show. I wasn't familiar with the Stooges at the time. I was a teenage punk rocker, and I had been through Suicidal and Black Flag, but I had not yet really gotten into the Stooges. And when it came to doing covers, Mia was not going to be someone to do Suicidal and Black Flag songs, but Stooges was right up our alley, and so that was kind of a special song, and I was glad I had the chance to do that with them up there at the KEXP space.
That's fantastic. That's
great. Hey, Dez, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
rocking them out. Is that Dondo?
I get my own baseball card. Really?
Yeah. Who's in the background there? Is that? Can you recognize?
I'm thinking that's Dondo at the Moose Lodge.
Yeah.
I was probably at that show.
It's Dondo. That's Bill Bowman. And he played in my band, Vita.
And here's the back. man, you've you've worked your way through a lot of acts, baby.
Oh, that's too much information.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
But what's going on? What do you need?
Yeah.
So,
oh well, this is
good. Hey, New York. What do you need?
Good stuff. Let's do this. Let me take a quick sponsor break, a quick one, and we'll come back and we'll start taking some questions from around the world. Okay, Bob, if you got to go feed the cat, feel free to go do it. And when you come back, when I see you,
I'm going to maybe do it right now, even though
go do it right now. I'm going to take a quick break, as if you got to go take a piss, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world. All right?
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Woo! All right. I'll see you in a minute. All right.
All right.
Hey, that's right. You know what I got to play that's important. That I need to give a push to. I'm gonna run this quick promo. Get your questions together, and we'll be right back. What's happening? This is filmmaker, musician, and the host of the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, Drew Stone, and I want to talk to you about an incredible project that's near and dear to my heart. That's finally coming to fruition after many, many years. I'm talking about London 77, The Lost Archive, the photography of Gregory Rudolph Smith. This is an incredible, never-before-seen look at a musical era that changed the face of modern music. Buried and forgotten for more than 45 years, these incredible photos have thankfully been rediscovered. For 8 months, in 1977 and 1978, Smith documented the golden age of the punk era in London. Never before seen photos of Adam and the Ants, Generation X, Susie and the Banshees, Crass, X-Ray Specs, Don Letts, the Slits, and many, many others are documented during this pivotal moment in musical history. I want to give you a little backstory. Greg Smith is a family friend who was my father, who was a film director's cameraman for many years, did many commercials with him. And later on, he was behind the lens during the golden age of music videos when we did some of the great videos of the 90s, like Onyx Slam, Typo Negative, Black Number One, and Run DMC, Biohazard, Tales from the Hard Side. This incredible archive was buried in a storage unit for decades and heading for the dumpster before Greg gifted them to me. And with the help of Generation Records, we put this project together. This is a rare glimpse into the vibrant time of this embryonic movement, and they have been compiled into a beautiful tabletop book that is now available for the public for the first time. There it is in all its glory. This is important stuff, and we're really excited that the public is finally going to be able to enjoy this incredible archive. I hope that you enjoy this passion project. London 77, The Lost Archive, the photography of Gregory Rudolph Smith, at least half as much as we did putting it together. Thank you. That is correct. The London 77 book is shipping now. Please, it's a real labor of love. So it can be purchased at Generation Records here in New York City. Of course, we have the book event coming up, and Cortex Records internationally. You want to support the show, please buy that book. Couple of things just want to mention upcoming. A week from today is the new music show with Christoph Jesus from Crazy in the Brains and Greg Reason. A couple other people coming on. We love doing these shows. We're going to march a couple people through the show. Sunday, May 11th, Freddie from Madball will be on celebrating the release of True to the Game, the Roadrunner Years. Sunday, May 18th, Chris Beatty, formerly of Hatebreed. Apparently, this is the first interview he's doing since he has left the band. Should be interesting. Wednesday, May 28th, we're doing a little bit of a side trip episode. Mike Falzerano from Hot Tuna, formerly of Hot Tuna, New Riders of the Purple Sage, the Englishtown Project, and the Airplane Family, featuring former members of Jefferson Airplane, will be on the show. And Don Caprio, Wednesday, June 4th, celebrating the release of Director's Cut, along with actor Louis Lombardi from The Sopranos, 24 and Suicide Kings. And this one, you hear it here first, Wednesday, July 11th, Benjamin Howard Smith from the Brotlow, Sweet Diesel, the Kill Van Kull, and the Gilgo Beach Boys. Holy shit, what's going on outside my window? It's New York City, kids. So I'm a big Brotlow fan, so I'm really excited about Ben coming on the show. So yes, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by blah, 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 and the Texas Silver Rush. Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. Goddamn electric. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information on online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Last but not least, Mad Vintage buys, sells, and collects band shirts, primarily hardcore. The DIY operation was started and is operated by a hardcore kid who just loves collecting and eventually got into vintage clothing, specifically the realm of vintage band shirts. They're always looking to buy out collections to either keep, sell, or trade. New shirts added daily at www.madvintage and posted on Instagram. Dig deep into that closet of crap and reach out to them. Help me help you, Mad Vintage. By the way, there is room on the boat on the New York Hardcore Chronicles. We're looking for another sponsor. So if you want to join the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, and Mad Vintage, please reach out. We got room on the boat for you. That said, post questions that you have for our guests let's bring our guests back on. Dez Cadena, Bob Lee, and Joe Ghosted. Let's see what we got, boys. This is an
What do we
interesting
got?
one. It is an interesting one. We'll go with you on this, Dez. Pat Baldwin asked, Spot was a singular producer. Does Dez have any special memories of working with Spot?
He was a amazing musician, and he was an amazing roller skater. And he could play, if you handed him an instrument, he could play it. And when I first went into the studio to sing Clocked In, that was the first song I ever sang with Black Flag. He said, warm up with Jealous Again. I go, well, that's already a single. He goes, just sing along to it, warm your voice up. And I had no idea about being a vocalist at all. And we recorded that, and it ended up coming out later on.
It was on a compilation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was on Everything Went Black.
Yeah.
My version.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so funny. He was so into, he didn't know what punk rock was until he met Black Flag. He was kind of like this jazzy skate photographer guy, and into being in the studio. He worked for Media Arts, and he was very energetic. He was kind of crazy. He was spastic. At the same time, he was kind of mellow. He was really fun to be around. Most misunderstood person.
Gotcha. Bob, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Bob, what are your go-to Clawhammer and Crawl Space records for beginners to both bands, or ones maybe you're most proud of?
All right. I'm proud of all of them. I was happy with what we did on any of them, and the Clawhammer albums I feel like are pretty close in quality, although they're quite different. The one that Joel just held up was Pablum, the one we did on Epitaph. If you're coming to us from punk rock, that's probably a reasonable place to start. We did that in 1993,
right?
And that was that I felt like that was a really good studio performance from me and from the band. That was one of the first times I remember feeling like we had really nailed it, the thing that we went in there to try and do. But any of them I think are worth listening to. The final one, Hold Your Tongue and Say Apple, is probably one of our lesser heard ones, ironically, because it's the one we spent the most money making. But that's one of the ones I'm most proud of. That's kind of the development, I think, of the ideas that we had into something that's a little bit different, a little bit evolved, I guess. And then Crawl Space, the stuff that I'm on is the stuff that is on the albums or the label Sympathy for the Record Industry. There's a couple of singles, August, backed with Africa, and then Solitude Smokestack Head, backed with Ocean Is You. And those were on Sympathy for the Record Industry. And then there's a CD that we made called Sphere Reality that's got me playing on it. That's us at our improvisational best, where we're trying to kind of be the 90s version of Can, I guess, and do these long, unending improvisational jams where we've maybe only agreed on a riff when we get started with it and see where it goes. So those are the things of those two bands that I would probably recommend starting with.
Right on. Go ahead, Joel.
Oh, Bob, we should add before we totally forget, we should bring up this factoid. You, sir, play drums in Devo. So we got to dive in.
Yeah, well, that's my punk rock credibility right there. There was a period. I'm on 2 songs of the Super Cop soundtrack that Devo recorded in 1996, and Clawhammer had, when we recorded our version of Devo's first album in its entirety, which was kind of started out as a joke between Long Gone John of Sympathy and the guys in Clawhammer. We ended up doing it. We called his bluff and did it, and they were aware of us, wrote the liner notes for that, and so a couple of years later, a friend of mine started working there, and when I went to visit her there, Mark saw Mark, and he ended up calling us in a couple of times to record stuff for Mutado, and at one of those times was when Devo was on the hook to get something out for the Super Cop soundtrack by the next day, and Josh Freese was out of town.
Wow.
And they needed, so I got to go in, and they called me Bob 3. And grew 2 sizes that day.
That's great. That's great.
It was a short thing, but sweet. And I still like. I'll still go see them. I'm still friends with my friend who's now married to Bob 1, and their daughter is in a band called Vaquita that's just started to play shows. I was invited to go see them with the Motels a couple of weeks ago, and missed that. But I'm told they're fantastic. I think Paul Rossler recorded them.
Devo is a beloved act in the chat room here of the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Like, people, love the Devo's coming this way pretty soon, and Devo's a beloved band. And we haven't mentioned this in a while, but Des, you could probably get a laugh out of this. Is early on when I was we've mentioned this before, but in Boston in the early days, like when Black Flag would come to town at 80, 81 or whatever, Boston was like a big college town, and it was just a small group of us who kind of shaved our heads, and we were sort of wandering around, looking for trouble, and they didn't know what to make of us. And the thing that like they drive by and go, fucking Devo, and we'd be like, Devo?
No.
We'd be like, Devo.
Yeah, where did that even come from?
No, it's like Devo fag.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
Devo? It's like going fucking, Blondie, like I'm crushed, Des, this is.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead, Des.
And while we're on the topic of Devo,
go ahead.
The first time when they reopened the whiskey was 1977. It was closed since like 1970 or some 1 or 2, whatever. And they were redoing the whiskey and they were redoing shows. It was 1977, and they had a show where the Runaways, without the lead singer, it was Joan Jett and the Runaways, was headliner. And the opening band, Van Halen. Ooh, a strip band. And I still think they're a strip band. I hate Van Halen. I can't stand him. I can't stand his guitar playing. Fuck him. I know better guitar players than him. Anyway, No offense. Anyway,
None taken.
None taken.
opening band, The Runaways, their second album came out, Queens of Noise, without the singer, but Joan was great. We didn't even watch Van Halen. We didn't care. We were punk rock. We didn't care about these strip band. Fuck them. You know, and that's the probably show that got their contract with Ted Templeman, meaning Van Halen. I promise you, he was there. And he saw them and he goes, okay, I'll produce them. Let's get them a record contract. Anyway, so
Ted Templeton produced all that early He produced the first. I think he produced all the Van Halen records.
and he also produced Captain Beefheart.
That's right. And he also didn't he also produce Captain Beyond? I think.
Well, I don't know
I don't know
that.
about that one.
Yeah, I got to
That
double check.
first Captain Beyond, I don't know.
I love that first
That's the only
on
one.
Capricorn Records.
That's the only one that I love. That great record. Anyway, so who's the cleanup band? You know, in those days, the headliner was the Runaways. They had a cleanup band. Well, the announcer goes, well, we have another band as we're clearing out. They're a band from Ohio, Devo. And we were, what? I had heard about Devo, and we stayed. And so here's a show. Van Halen, opening band, the Runaways, and Devo. Really? Yes. They have guitars made out of 2x4s. And they had the hockey jerseys, Devo. They were the clean up band for the Runaways. But the opening band, the real fuck you, is Van Halen.
I just looked it up. Ted Templeton produced the first Montrose record. I got confused there a little bit.
Well, no. And here's another thing about that. When he saw Van Halen, he didn't like the singer after that show I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like the singer. He goes, I got another singer. His name is Sammy Hagar.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
Is that right?
As early as that, yeah.
Singer of, I don't know why we're talking about this on a punk rock show.
Yeah, well, we go everywhere. But hey, I got this for you, Dez. This is from our, listen, he's going to be the best man in my wedding next month. Larry Kelly says, hey, Dez, this is Larry from Kill Slug. Was great playing some shows with you down in Texas back in the 80s. A lot of debauchery. I hope you're good, man.
Is that Larry Lifeless?
No, not Larry Lifeless. Larry Kelly, the other Larry from the band.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is interesting. Enzo says, hey, Dez, what's the story on the Gimme, Gimme, Gimme Rockabilly songs? Did you have any legal issues with SST on recording those? I absolutely love those tunes. And you have Kira singing on it also?
Oh, well, we got permission and everything's cool.
That's it.
You're originally from Boston?
No, I went to college in Boston. I'm born and raised in New York. In 81, I went to Emerson College to study acting in Boston. And right away, I fell in with the SSD Control guys. And my whole thing went, woo!
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was out of college soon after that. And I lasted in Boston 2 years. And came back to New York and started my a film production company and started that whole thing. So that's sort of my brief history.
All right. So
Yeah. Let me see what else we got. I'm not going to people asking sports questions. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Hey,
I'll tell them. I'll tell them. Let's go Mets.
Yeah. Joe Halleck says, just want to say you're amazing, Dez. I went to college when your nephew Kyle was going. Carla got your dad on the radio show on her jazz show, and you let me interview you over 20 years ago. You were doing some kind of benefit, I think. Your whole family is legendary.
Well, what's his name? Joe Halleck?
Joe Halleck.
Hey, Joseph. Thank you. And God bless you. What I say?
Yeah. David Lee Roth would have been epic in Devo.
No.
Somebody was wondering how that connection happened with both Warner Brothers bands.
Ted Templeman told them, I don't like the singer. I have another singer.
That came up during the sessions for the
It's really funny because Sammy Hagar ended up being in the band anyway.
Yeah.
20 years later. It's really kind of funny.
Chris Conti. Go ahead.
He didn't like the showboat.
Right.
The producer, I don't like the way he sings or how he showboats.
Hey, just as a side note, I know we're getting stuck on this, but Ted Templeton produced the first two David Lee Roth solo records, which were monsters. Yeah. So just put that. I mean, Eat 'Em and Smile and Skyscraper were huge albums. So he also produced the Bullet Boys. I remember that.
He went along. I like Captain Beefheart, and he produced a Captain Beefheart record, which is one of my favorites. All of that rock and roll tiddly widdly bullshit can go fuck.
Dez hasn't changed a bit. Hey, Dez, Jonathan.
Well, let's not forget about Minute by Minute.
Oh, he produced that too?
Templeman did the Doobies, yeah.
Oof.
Oh.
In the program Yacht Rock, he has a scene where David and Eddie are approaching him, trying to get him to sign, trying to get him to produce Van Halen and apply his smooth production style to their hard rock dominating approach. And Templeman gives them the classic put down, sorry guys, hard rock don't get my cock hard. The Doobies.
What was that in? What doc was that in?
It's not a doc, but it's exactly. It's the show Yacht Rock. It's popular on the comedy series on YouTube from I think it was made in the early 2000s. But it's if you're not familiar with Yacht Rock, I highly recommend it. All 10 episodes are amazing.
Yeah, I want to check that out. Hey, Dez. Hi, Dez. This is from Jonathan Limos Zaluga. Hi, Dez. One of the biggest regrets in my life is missing with my friend Cuervo, rest in peace, the Misfits show you played in Cali, Colombia in 2006 with Robo and Mo. Do you have any recollections from that show? I mean, anything you could, I know, like any of those days when the Misfits would go to places they'd never been before? Like
I do, in Colombia, the security had machine guns. Really. It was, maybe it's not that way now, but at our show, it was military security with machine guns. And I was like, what a beautiful country. It was like, okay, put on the makeup and the Misfits and guys are over here trying to protect us. But at the same time, why? Why? I mean, are we the criminals?
Hordes of guys with machetes on the other side of the wall. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
get you, like,
It was like, oh my God, Robo? What the fuck?
Well, Robo's Colombian, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
that's
but
how we roll.
it's beautiful country, I guess. You know, I've been to Italy. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Spain. Really?
Hey,
Machine
Brian
gun?
Walsby. Brian Walsby says, "What's up,
guns?
Bob?"
No, not rifles. Machine guns.
Hey, you never know.
You know?
Let me hijack this. How did Astral Jets come together? And this is about the only band photo I could find.
I'm gonna let this
from our
be
social
for
media.
Bob
Yeah, Bob,
Because-
how did it come together?
because I have to go.
Go ahead.
I got a phone call from Dez a couple of years ago when he came back out to take care of his mom. I think we talked about the beginning of the program, and he just kind of said, "What would we do if we were to do something?" And I remembered that he liked playing with Backbiter back when DC3 and Backbiter would play together in '92. And so I immediately kind of thought of having those guys be part of whatever it was we were going to do. And I also thought about having him reunite with Paul, because I really liked DC3 in that early lineup, and liked Paul's playing, and had been working with Paul in his studio at Kitten Robot, and enjoyed working with him, and he seemed to enjoy working with me as a drummer. So it seemed like it would be a possibility to kind of bring back an old connection, as well as have some possibility to, do things that would take shape. And that's what's happened. We haven't gotten together that many times and spent that many hours together, but we have an album with 8 songs that's out now, and we're 5 songs deep into the next one as we speak. We've just scheduled some more sessions, and it's kind of a slow cooker approach to things. We don't have regular band practice every couple of weeks. We'll set up a session and ask Paul when can we get into his very busy studio in a couple of months. And if I called him today, we'd probably book a date in June or July. And then, which I comes to think of it, I probably should do that. But, then we'll have a show come up. We don't play that often, but as of right now, we're looking at doing something in June, something in August, and something in October. So things are kind of coming together in a nice way. It's not overwhelming in terms of time, which Dez doesn't have unlimited ability to go out and do stuff, and really neither does Paul. He's got a busy business that he's running. But
Sure
if we can,
right above the gym, right?
Yep, right over, and
Right over the gym. I've been there.
And we get to share the parking. Yeah, it's a great facility. And
the parking right across the alley,
there.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And great drum sets in there. I don't have to bring anything, and I'm going to sound good.
Yeah.
So that's a reason to do it there as well. So that's how the band came together, was kind of just a meeting of what would work and what is available, and what seems like it would work under those circumstances has brought the 5 of us together. And luckily Paul is good enough that you don't have to have band practice every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Play him the thing, and by take 2 or so, you've got a fantastic performance laid down.
Yeah,
that's all it takes. You can work fast with good people,
right, Joel? We're big fans of Paul's. We like Paul
yeah.
a lot. He's a
Me too.
He's a great. He's been on the show, and I know Joel knows his material. Like no other. Good question from LaRoche. Hey Bob, who Who would you want to play with that you haven't yet? Ooh.
Oh boy, Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
Nice. Good.
And immediately, I've
Right.
already planned this out, and
Sure.
I think I can make a contribution. I think I can make a quality contribution to that band still at 57.
Yeah, this one's called Cortez the Killer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm already counting it in subdivisions. You have to count slow tempos in multiple subdivisions.
Right on. Hey, let me ask you this, Dez. I think it's, somebody asked something else about Flag, and we don't do that kind of a show. We don't want to. We're not trying to. So this one's a little makes it a little easier here. I saw Flag in 2016 at Rebellion Festival, and it set the bar high for a great weekend. Anything brewing for any more Flag shows, or has it passed?
We're playing May 26th at Punk Rock Bowling.
Woo!
You didn't know that?
Woo! Wee!
I thought you knew everything.
And did you see this? That you and I are doing a tour the same day at the Punk Rock Museum?
Oh, that'll be good.
I got 10:30 a.m. and I think you got noon or something.
Well, it's like a crossover. I did it last year,
Mm-hmm.
and it seemed like these tours cross over sometimes because the bass player for Descendants, what's his name?
Carl.
We crossed over our tours because I was lagging. Hey, don't ever go to a Keith Morris one. Unless you want to spend 4 hours of him going, hey man, golly, Jesus, when I was in Black Flag, don't ever do that.
Hey, Dez, what's it like to play with the Duke?
I love playing with Chuck. He's a rumbler. He's a full energy. He was the energy of Black Flag. The energy of Black Flag. And creativeness too. The energy. He was not your typical bass player. Give it that much. And so is not Mike Watt from the Minutemen.
Sure.
But Chuck is like Greg. They're their own animal for their instruments. Bar none. They are. And it's fun playing with Chuck and trying to kind of forget all musical. It's like it's almost like almost the way he plays bass is almost like a linebacker or something. I don't know. It's incredible.
You know what they say? No Chuck Dukowski, no Black Flag. Ooh.
Well,
I'm not, and we don't need to go there. We don't need to go.
It's not, but there you go. You said it.
Yeah, LaRoche. Yeah, we're playing punk rock bowling also. We're playing with 7 Seconds and Negative Approach, Effigies and Stalag 13. We're kicking it off. Incendiary Devices kicking it off on Friday the 23rd at the Fremont Country Club.
Okay, well, we might be rolling into town the day before, but if not, I got to go to practice
Yeah,
because
it's okay. It's all right. Hey, Joel, as we head down the home stretch, you got anything? You got anything? A burning desire for Bob or for Dez?
Do I have a burning desire for
Yeah.
Bob?
Is there something in that we didn't ask yet?
I don't want to know about it.
Well,
Go ahead.
just for my own selfish esoteric interest, as I've told you, Dez, as I've told Kira and Paul. Hello, Kira and Paul. Love to you as always. One of my favorite bands is Twisted Roots, like my top 3, which blows Paul's mind every time I say it. So tell me a little bit about Twisted Roots, because you were a part of that band as well.
Yeah.
And obviously your history with Paul goes back forever. But you were with Twisted Roots when Maggie was still singing for them, right? When you were in the band?
Yeah, it went through a little transition, but what's your question? What do you want to know?
Well, just maybe summarize a little bit about your time with Twisted Roots, because this would have been past the initial lineup with Emil, and there had been some lineup changes. It was you and Dix from the Weirdos at that time, right?
Well, no. I was never. I love the Weirdos. I'm never in them. First of all, when I started to form DC3 after I told Black Flag, look, I want to start my own band. And they were like, yeah, you were unhappy being the singer. Now you play guitar and you're pretty good. You want your own band. You're welcome to go. So I originally got Kira to audition and play with this drummer that I knew, Kurt Markham, and to be in DC3. And I wanted it to be something a little bit more like jamming, 70s type jamming, Deep Purple or Rory Gallagher or something. And Mountain. And because that's all the stuff Black Flag we used to listen to. We wouldn't listen to hardcore at all. We would listen to jazz or something else. So
Dez pulled the Rory Gallagher card.
yeah. Whoa, excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Now you're talking.
Come on now. Oh, yeah. Wow.
What the
Wow.
fuck? Are we fooling
Fantastic.
around here or what? No. So Kira, for like 2 rehearsals at Black Flag Studio in Long Beach, we did a first rehearsal. The word got around. Bill goes, for some reason they wanted to fire Chuck, which is like Greg wanted a more steadier bass player because Chuck was all over the place. But Chuck, that's him. He's good. He's great. He's wonderful. I don't know. Anyway, so we had Kira in the band, and in a week, she pulls me over. She says, Dez, Black Flag wants me to play bass. I go, carry on. And but she felt guilty, and so she said, my brother is a really good keyboard player, and he can play bass on the Moog. And I go, you mean Paul? Yeah. I go, okay, he's in the band. And for the first year or two with DC3, we had only me, Paul, and the drummer playing trying to play heavy rock and roll music, which was fun. And then eventually we got to fill in. We got Steve McDonald from Red Cross, a couple of gigs. So we actually had a real bass player, but it was fun. It was fun to play other music than punk rock. Oh,
Here, here.
No offense. It was fun. It was fun.
Cut to the scene in Frankenstein where everyone has the pitchforks coming for him.
So is
No,
that the Twisted
no,
Roots thing came about?
This is a happy, let's pick daisies in the park story. It was, I used to tell Bill, when is this punk rock going to end so I could get some rest? Wouldn't that be really good on your program? You could cut it out.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This show's fan base is in for the long haul.
Good for them.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Anything else?
No, I think.
Well, we didn't get to the Twisted Roots.
Yeah.
Well, you got a couple of hours?
I don't know. Maybe 5 minutes.
Twisted Roots. Okay, so I formed DC3. Paul, there you go. And the turnoff was, I'll play in your band if you play in mine. We both had bands. So he had Twisted Roots. Maggie or the band broke up. He recorded that one album with Gerber, Michelle Bell. And he was going to do a Twisted Roots Bar 4 or 5 with Maggie again. Different people. Bruce Duff on bass and a bunch of people. And on drums, it wasn't Emil. It was Gary Jacoby.
Right.
Yeah.
From Celebrity Skin.
Yeah. And we did a reunion, and I played with Maggie, who was the original singer. I had fun. It was so I played in Twisted Roots, and he played in DC3, and we both played bands. We did a band trade.
Right.
I'll play in your band, and okay, I'll play in your band. Boom.
And you guys are still playing, which is awesome.
It is very nice. And Bob, I wanted to rename this band the Bob Lee Explosion.
But the name was taken. So we had to go with Astral Jets.
You remember?
We another SoundCloud band called that.
All right. So now,
credit.
can I close this out with my
please.
invitation? How about you, Bob? You want Bob? You have anything?
Some final words?
Yeah.
Just don't underestimate yourself.
Let me frame it like this. Hey, Bob, is there It's been a great show. Thank you. Is there anybody you want to thank? Is there anybody you want to shout out? Is there anybody, you want to recognize or anything coming up in the future we need to know?
My wife Elise and my cat Claude are an essential force in my life, and thank you to them. Jonathan and Heath from the Astral Jets have been partners of mine in music for 34 years, I think, this year. And we still have good work ahead of us. It's kind of exciting to feel that way. So thanks to all of those folks, and all of the musicians that in LA that have brought me up and had me be part of their thing, and let me make a contribution to your art. It's been a good life, and kind of keeps on giving.
Thanks for coming on the show, Bob. We'll see you out at we'll see you out in the city of sin, huh? In a couple of weeks. I'll see you then.
We'll be there.
Take care, man.
Now you, Cadena.
Oh, you're not the first one to say that.
Hey, you know what? I got a question for you before as we're heading towards the door. Like, any fond memories of playing with the Misfits with Jerry, and like, and any, because the Misfits fans are so fanatical, and I was doing a deep dive, and I really the record that you did with Jack the Ripper and Death Ray that you sang, Devil's Reign.
You like that?
I like that record. I like the way it sounds. I know it's a little different in the catalog, but my boy Goat plays on it. I'm
Well,
yeah,
my man.
Yeah,
my man.
Yeah. So, any fond Misfits memories?
Oh, absolutely. Goat is one of them. Playing with many fond stories. I could tell you many stories because I toured constantly with them for 13 years. So, and I just saw them the other day at Coachella, and with Glenn and everybody else. So that was fun. My fond memories are, I could tell you a story.
Please.
Can I have a beer first?
Sure. Okay. Cheers. You know what?
Salute.
It's everybody. Salute, everybody out there.
Salute.
Got my Barry Manilow mug right here.
Here, cheers. There you go. Boom. Cheers.
Boy. What do you got?
I'm drinking water.
Black coffee.
And good for you too.
Yeah.
So we're in Italy, and we're touring with, I believe at the time, Marky Ramone was playing drums. No, it was Goat. It was Goat. And we're on the Italy tour, European tour. And this is great. We go to an auto grill. Now, if you've ever been to Europe or especially Italy, they have these truck stops with auto grill.
Yeah.
But auto grill overlooks anything we have here in America as far as food, because you can get a buffet and they will make you food if you want it fresh. And yeah, that's me. Look at that picture. Pretty fucking funny. Thank God I don't have to do that anymore.
You don't have to put all that makeup on anymore.
It was fun. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It just, whatever. So we're in Italy, auto grill. And have you ever been to Italy, both of you?
Yes,
I
of
have.
course.
You
I was actually in Italy with the Misfits in 1997. We were on tour together. I was
have
actually out
with Michael.
with Michael. The first European tour they did, I was managing a band called Sub Zero that I got on the bill, and I went out and with them and spent a lot of time out there. And that's where I spent a lot of time with Michael Alago, who I ended up directing the film about his life.
Right.
Yeah. So because Alago signed them to Geffen. So yeah. Anyway, go on.
Anyways, so we stop at an auto grill, and you've been there before, right?
Yeah.
It's like a truck stop with everything.
Yeah.
Beyond, you can get fresh food, a lunch, and or you have the buffet, or you have the little convenience store with the porno mags next to the kids, like kids books next to the porno mags, or videos. You can get the Lion King video, or you can get Debbie Does whatever. So we're there. We go there, and we're driving it. And do you know Auto Grill?
Yeah, I mean, in Europe, the truck stops. So like you can, I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, if you needed something for your hemorrhoids, you can get it there. But it's funny because we pull in, and a little mini bus full of about 15 Italian kids and 3 nuns. Okay? If you don't use this on your show, that's fine, but you're allowed to.
I listen. The show's live, brother. It's being used. I can't. Whatever you say is going out live. So we don't edit. We just go with it.
You go with it. All right. That's so punk of you.
I try.
So we go there. We pull in a short bus, a nun full, about 15 kids, Italian kids, and 3 nuns. And they're all about 5'1", 2. The nuns. I don't mean the kids. And it's really funny because he sees that, Jerry sees that. And he goes, to Tut, our roadie, King Tut, go get my satchel with my money. He rips out $100 bill. And I'm like, well, if you're going to give it to the kids, Mo, why don't you give them euros? Wait, he had a big thing of money, and one side was American money, the other side was euros. And why don't you just give them euros? No, here, and he runs up to him, and he goes to the mother, and he goes, because something about her was different than the other 2. She was the head mother. He said something like, Mama, ice cream for everybody. And those kids didn't know English, but once they heard ice cream, and they were like, yeah. And he hands the lady $100 bill. Now we go in, they go in, we spend an hour in there, everybody eating. The kids go eat and get their ice cream or whatever. The $100 probably went to the church. Whatever. We were in, oh my God. We're in Italy. I forget where. On the road. And it was fine. We're leaving. I could see Jerry. Now, this is a tribute to my friend. He's a very family Catholic, half Italian, half Irish. I don't know what's worse, but he very generous. On the way out, he goes to the band, everybody go get the posters, go get my bass out. And you've seen Jerry Only's bass. It's like taller than you, it's a big thing. It's pretty grandiose. And get the bass out, put the strap on, he tells Tut, we're all going to get the posters for our Italian tour at the time, get everything out, and we're going to take a picture with the kids and the nuns. So they didn't know it, the nuns or the kids. We go in the back, and he grabs his bass and he sticks it up in the air like this, and he goes, Metallica! Now, all the kids went, yeah, well, they knew the guy that bought them ice cream, number one. Number two, I don't know why he said Metallica. he probably thought that those 6-year-old kids would know the band Metallica. But, I just thought they were reacting because he went like this and yelled. So that's my story about Jerry Only.
It reminds me of when I was.
Come on, man. I don't care if he loves Trump. I love him.
Let me jump on real quick. I'll tell you something that sums up Jerry for me, because I've known Jerry forever. I used to book these Legion Hall shows in Franklin, New Jersey. And a buddy of mine came to me because his older brother had brain cancer and was having trouble with the finances. I said, well, let's put on a benefit show. So I called Jerry at the shop. I said, hey, Jerry, a buddy of mine's brother's sick. We're going to do a show. I want to do like a raffle that night. Can you toss me a couple shirts, maybe some stickers? He's like, yeah, Brother Joel, come up to the shop. I'll take care of it. So I go up there. He wasn't there, but there was a note on the table saying, hey, Joel, all of this is yours. Help yourself. Happy to help. I hope your friend's brother is okay. He must have stacked 40 T-shirts there, amount of stickers, CDs that you can't get anywhere else, promo CDs, radio promo CDs for the box set. Yeah. I mean, that's Mo. So
he's always been like that. He's always been like that.
He will give you the shirt off his back if he could.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
It was really good to see them a week or two ago. It was to get there from where I am in California to there. And it's not too bad, but just getting to that Coachella, never going to go again. Yeah. I'll go see them if they play, but no.
Yeah, that's a bold move, brother, man. I couldn't handle. I would have a hard time.
Well, I wanted to see him. You
wanted to see the Misfits with Glenn. Yeah.
Well, I had already had at the Garden, and what's the place in Philly? The Spectrum.
It's not it used to be the Spectrum. It's something else now, but yeah.
Was it next door? What's next door?
I don't know if it's called the Spectrum anymore. I don't think so. Hey, here's a question for you, Dez. Dawson Walters says, "Hey, Dez, what record is currently on your turntable? Example, I'm listening to Blue Murder. Doesn't have to be a turntable, but what are you listening to, Dez? What's ringing your bell?
Well, you mean punk or
Anything. Fuck punk. Who cares about punk? Anything, whatever you're fucking listening to.
I love this guy. I love you. All
Whatever
right. No. Well, no, not that. I play on that. I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah, don't go there.
Well, I could right now. I could listen to
Come on.
the first Lucifer's Friend album. Lucifer's Friend.
Yeah, right on.
I don't know why today, but I feel that way. Sometimes, like yesterday, it was like Captain Beefheart.
I love Captain Beefheart, man.
Clear Spot.
Hey, you know your Astral Jets song "Blood and Broken Glass." I have it in my notes. It reminded me of Moby Grape.
Yeah, I see that. I never saw it before.
Yeah, I'm a big psychedelic, fan from that era, but it actually reminded me of Moby Grape.
Well, I could tell that by the look in your eyes. And
hey, did you ever see the Grateful Dead?
Not a fan.
No. Did you ever see Johnny Winter?
At Roosevelt Stadium.
Oh yeah, Roosevelt Stadium. You know this place, Joe? Roosevelt Stadium was it was a real dumpy minor league stadium they had in Jersey City. And they Jersey City.
Was
I thought it was Jersey City, no?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And they had incredible shows there over ELP, ELP, and in '73 they had Purple and all that, and it was a real ramshackle, old, dilapidated stadium until they tore it down. But a lot of epic shows. It's like Gaelic Park in the Bronx is another one.
Yeah, you're right. That was another one. Gaelic Park.
Gaelic Park. Yep. Yeah, it's still there. It's still there, Gaelic Park, but it's been renovated and the college owns it now. So all right. Well, that said, Oh wait a second. Captain Beefheart or Frank Zappa, Dez and Drew.
Apples and oranges, whoever the hell you are.
Yeah. Trout Mask Replica is incredible. Frank Zappa produced it. If you want to, but I'm a big Zappa guy. I'm a Zappa encyclopedia.
Well,
I'm a Zappa freak.
Here's my thing with Trout Mask Replica. Probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. Just from start to finish, and he'll tell people that you play in this meter, you play in this meter,
right?
You play in this meter, and the same song. So people thought it was a joke. No. It was a true musical experience and my friend here, Steve, I'm at his studio, he hasn't heard Trout Mask. On the ride home, we might have to listen to that because he's never heard it. And I'm just trying to introduce him Now, Zappa, here.
With the SG. Break out the SG.
Hold on. How'd it go? Hold on.
Zoodalores.
That's all I got.
That's Zoodalores. Or is that the Black Page? No. Is that Black Napkins or is that Zoodalores?
Black napkin.
Black Napkins. Yeah.
Yeah, for you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, Joe, let's go get something to eat. Dez, love you, bro. Look forward to seeing you in Vegas. We'll hang out. Looking forward to seeing Flag. Thanks for all the great music, man. Is there anybody you want to thank? Is there anybody you want to shout out, Dez?
No, man, I want to thank you. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you better get something to eat because where are you going to go?
Oh, no, my wife's coming home and we're going to have dinner.
Oh, what are we having?
I think she's going to I think since I'm trying to lose some weight for Punk Rock Bowling, I think it's going to be fried eggplant or something.
All right, and have a salad.
Thanks. Diet tips from Dez Cadena. Hey, we'll see you soon, Dez. Thank you, man.
Take care, Dezo.
And happy birthday to your mom. You're doing God's work, man.
Well, thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Take care, man. I told you.
You did. What a great show, man. That was great.
Yeah.
We love that guy.
Oh, yeah. Uncle Dez.
We love that guy, man. We love that guy. Absolutely.
I told you, just get him on and the show will take care of itself.
Yeah, he's great. Looking forward to he's great. An American icon, Dez Cadena. Yeah. Fantastic.
Lovely guy.
Anybody you want to thank?
Thanks to Bob and Dez for coming on. I know we're talking about it for a bit, so thank you both. Want to give a shout out to the rest of the guys in the Astral Jets, especially Paul. Hello, Paul. Love to you as always. Kira, Watt, that whole crowd, Duke. Always good to mention Chuck. Great guy. Thanks everybody in the chat room for chiming in. Thank you for Steven Messina coming on, sharing some thoughts about Mike Peters. Rest in peace, Mike. I want to thank you as well. It's our first chance to bring this up. Thank you for the Al Burrell tribute show a couple of weeks back. That was
really nice.
Yeah.
And wasn't today declared Al Burrell? No, didn't they say they're going to have an Al Burrell Day? Is October? Yeah. So the Al Burrell tribute show is happening on his birthday in October.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So hopefully we'll see a lot of our friends and family at that show. I'm sure we will. Yeah, and I don't know, man. My brain's a little wrung out after the last couple hours. We covered a lot of ground, man.
October 4th is Al Burrell Day. Are you around when we come up there and we're playing up there for my birthday? Are you around for that?
Yeah. I'm planning to go. I'm also planning to come down for your wedding in June.
Listen, if you don't know out there, getting married on stage at the Sunday Hardcore Matinee, me and Rochelle, it's free. It's all ages. My War is playing. We're going to have many special guests. So it's going to be a great day. So please, everybody's welcome. Should be good.
Right on.
So, all right. I'll talk to you soon, Joel. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Good seeing you again. Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Take care. Bye. Well, there you have it. Another one in the books. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Just want to mention that this Saturday, real quick, is the Rebelmatic album release thing. I'll be down there at Generation Records. And hold on a second. Hey, I'm still doing the show.
Oh, I thought you said it was over.
No, I was just telling everyone to come down to our wedding.
Ah, okay. I'll see you later.
Well,
I thought you said you were done.
I'm almost done. But you want to say anything to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
See you soon.
I love you. See ya.
Bye.
So anyway, Rebelmatic is this Saturday. Then this Sunday is Rampage Fest. Then we will be back here a week from today with the new music show. So thanks a lot, everybody. Love you guys. I really do. Do we need to bring wedding gifts? Listen, it's not about the gifts, man. You know, feel free to, if you want to bring something, you can. If you can't, man, that's okay. What matters is that you're going to be there. And that means the world to me. So thanks a lot, everybody. I love you once again. Until next time, tell your loved ones that you love them. As you know, this life is so short. These things are so important. Until next time, do good things, and good things will come to
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age.